Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Civivi Knives Statera, the newest in a rapidly expanding model line from Civivi Knives. Yeah, they just came out in like what, October last year or something like that. They're up to 8 now. It's now February. Yeah, they're lining them up, knocking them down, as they would say. This is the newest one. I initially was not super eager to review this. I'll explain why at the end of this video. There's going to be a bit of a rambly bit there if you want to stick around for it. But you guys kept bugging me about it. I really wanted the black one. It comes in a few different colors. I didn't care for the other ones. Somebody got the black one back in stock, so I did get that. You can find this at White Mountain Knives. Not currently. They're sold out almost everywhere in online retailers, but I will say, checked a couple distributors. They're back in stock there, so they're going to be coming back through again. But if you go to White Mountain Knives, always remember 10% off with the code SDWMK. I don't get any monetary kickback from that, but it encourages White Mountain Knives to keep giving me good deals on stuff so that I can keep feeding the beast and keep showing you guys some cool knives. So go check it out there. It'll be back in stock soon. It's pretty much out of stock almost everywhere. Anywho, let's get going. This is one of the higher-end Civivi knives. They are made by We Knives. Civivi is their budget line. This is one of the $68 ones. They kind of go in price brackets. You know, $42.50 for knives like the Backlash and the Praxis and the Naha. And then they also have one $49.50 knife, the Wyvern. Haven't tried that one out. That's the Dragon Scaly one. And then they have these $68 ones like this and the Shard and the Aquila. Wow, I actually remembered all of them. I'm quite proud of myself for that. Give myself a little pat on the back when this video ends for that. I'm quite proud I remembered all the model names. Probably helps I just looked at them. But this is kind of a unique one. This is it's similar in configuration to the Shard, and it has a D2 blade. These carbon fiber laminate G10 scales, the Love 'em or Hate 'em gold liners, and the titanium pocket clips, the G10 backspacer. Pretty similar configuration to the Shard. I think this one looks a lot better. We'll get to that as we go on. You got the nice bronze hardware, which is always a nice touch. That hardware looks great, and it's also awesome quality. Pretty cool design. You've got this kind of modified drop point blade, D2 steel, as I said. Pretty unique blade finish on this one. It's and We does this with some other knives too. It's this kind of polished bead blast, stonewashy kind of looking finish. I like it. I think it looks cool. No markings whatsoever on the blade other than D2, which you would need a magnifying glass to read, and just the very subtle Civivi logo on the pivot. So yeah, they do not billboard at all. Any We stuff is almost always completely devoid of logos other than just what's on the pivot. They do a great job there. No logo on the pocket clip or anything. Yeah. Really nice looking knife, I have to say. Quite impressed with the looks of it. As I said, this is a carbon fiber laminate. This is not carbon fiber all the way through, but for a carbon fiber laminate, damn son, that looks good. They did a really good job with that. That is genuine plastered over carbon. I mean, it looks like genuine carbon. I like this little swooshy in here. As I said, I love the look of the hardware. And the gold liners, people love them or hate them. I like them better than the blue ones that are on the Backlash. Got that out here. I like it better than the blue. And on this black one, I think it looks good. On the brown version, it looks okay. I believe they also make an olive green one. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong about that. But I do believe it's this this black, brown, and a green. The green one, I don't like them so much. But on the black and the brown, I think they look pretty good. But some people are going to hate them, and that's fine. Some people, I'm not going to buy got gold liners. Okay, fine. But I think it looks cool, especially on this. As I said on, I think the Aquila that had them too. I think it's got a little Smoky and the Bandit to it. I kind of like it. But I think it's a really nice looking knife, and fit and finish wise, it's a Civivi. They've all been great. Pocket clips milled very nicely. You know, centering's dead on. You know, the lockup's very good. The only fit and finish thing I have, and this is being really quibbly, this is being really picky, this little swooshy bit That edge isn't chamfered very well, and you can kind of, it does feel a bit sharpish. Not something that's really going to bother you, but you do notice it. That's the only tiny little quibble I have with fit and finish. Other than that, finished well beyond at $68 price point, absolutely for sure. Let's do some stats and size comparisons before we get too much farther. Overall length, dead on 8 inches. Blade length of 3.5 inches. Blade thickness, very thin and usual for Civivi, 0.12 inches. And handle thickness of 0.52 inches and a weight of 3.7 ounces. So doesn't quite hit that, ounce per inch thing, but it comes pretty damn close. Size comparisons, we will start off with some of our regulars. You have against your Spyderco Paramilitary 2, pretty similar in overall size to a PM2. We'll put up your another one that's kind of also in the same size and price range, your Best Tech Paladin, another one of my favorite D2 Chinese-made flippers, a little bit smaller than that. What else do we want to pull it up against? We'll put it up against one of the more budget Civivis. This is the Backlash, one of the $42 ones. Almost identical in overall size to the Backlash. Completely different materials, but almost identical in size to that. A knife that we've had on here recently, this is the Mini Lanner. So this is the smaller Lanner. They also make a bigger one. This would kind of lay right between those two. And, what's another one I wanted to pull it up against? Oh, since we have it out here, let's do the Cold Steel Code 4, because I know a lot of you guys have these too. Because every time I mention the Code 4, I get a chorus of, I've got one of those. Yeah, great knife. Okay, now let's start talking more about this knife in particular. The blade, the most important part of a knife. As I said, D2 steel. Civivi and we seem to do a pretty good job with it. A lot of people think that we is very new to using D2. They are not. Their previous budget models before they had Civivi were $100 and they all had D2 blades. They've been doing it a while, and it seems to be pretty good quality D2. I had no problems with the shard when I had that. This seems pretty good also. As I said, pretty thin blade stock, and also, as you'd expect from Civivi, pretty thin behind the edge. Not as thin as some of the other Civivis, but close. This is kind of a saber grind, and it's about between 16 and 18 thousandths behind the edge. It starts out like 16 and a half, 17, and then it got closer to 18 as I measured up here. Again, that is an extremely hard measurement to take, so don't take that as complete gospel, but that's what I got out of it. Pretty darn slicey. You have a pretty good tip on it. It's not going to show well on camera because it has this swedge almost all the way to the tip, but you get pretty good material there on the tip, which is nice. I will say it didn't come as razor sharp as some of the other Civivis I've gotten. It's still pretty darn good, don't get me wrong. We'll do a little paper test here. It's more than fine, but some of the other Civivis I've gotten were just razor sharp out of the box, and this one isn't quite as sharp. I don't know what there is with that, but it's perfectly fine. If I spent 30 seconds on the sharp maker, it would be just as razor sharp as the ones that I had before. It's that close. But overall, I really like the blade shape. You have this complete fuller here, which is nice. Ergonomically, excellent. It does have a workable choil, which is nice. At least for my fingers. Again, I have large size gloves, but fairly skinny fingers, and it works fine for me, and I think there's a bit more room. I think you could have fingers a little bit fatter than me and still use it if you were careful, but for me, it's completely fine. Very comfortable, no hot spots. Again, the only complaint I have is I can when my fingers land on that, I can feel that that's a bit sharp. And I know it's easy to say, oh, just take some sandpaper and rub that off. Yeah, that would take 2 seconds, maybe, but it's down in that groove. That'd be kind of a pain. Honestly, I'm probably just going to leave it. It's not that much of an annoyance. The pocket clip does, in this case, does work great on the titanium clip, where I don't feel it. I don't feel it a bit. Like at all. It completely disappears. When I choke up, I guess maybe you can kind of feel it a little bit, but if you're using it like this, you're probably not really clamping down very much. So, yeah, ergonomically, very, very, very good. As far as the carry goes, also, you know what? Every time I get a Civivi with one of these titanium pocket clips, I whine about it. I'm not going to whine about it on this one. I think on this one, it was actually a very good choice. I usually prefer the Civivi fold over deep carry clip. But on this knife, no, the titanium looks good with it. It matches the finish on the blade, and there's still almost nothing sticking out of your pocket. So I cannot complain there at all. I actually do like that pocket clip choice on this particular model. I still don't like it on some of the others, but on this one, I think it's great. And easy to get your hand past. Does have a bit of a pocket pecker. You can definitely feel that flipper tab against your pinky if you're trying to get something out of the bottom of your pocket. It's a bit chamfered. I don't think it's quite as smooth as it could be, but it's not bad. Works fine. And deployment, it's a Civivi. I haven't had one yet that was bad. They all run on ball bearings. These are ceramic with a ceramic detent. The lower end ones have steel. But I've done nothing to this since I got it out of the box. Rockets right out. Drops right shut. This is a $68 knife, guys, with a $200 action all day long. And most Civivis are like that. And this is absolutely no exception. Just awesome. The detent is just so perfect on these. The flipper tab shape is excellent. You can tell that's something they really focus on at Civivi, or Wii Knives. Wii Knives, period. Most Wiis have pretty good action. They really focus on that because a lot of us are fiddlers and they're making knives for enthusiasts, and that's what we like. Really just awesome action. So where does that leave me on this? Awesome knife. Really good. For 68 bucks. Excellent value. The gold liner thing is the only thing I can think of that people will be really upset about. I know I nitpicked about the edge being a bit sharp, but I don't think many people are going to whine about that. I haven't seen anybody else who reviewed it whine about it. Maybe it's just mine, but it's such a minor annoyance. I don't think that would stop anyone from buying it. But I did mention at the top of this, I was not super eager to review this. Why is that? I kind of had Civivi fatigue, guys, I gotta say. And Wii Knives as a whole, man, they come out with so much stuff, and everything's good. I'm not complaining at all about the knives, with one notable exception. Recent review I did of a full-on Wii, I just did not understand. Most of their stuff is great, but man, there's so much of it. I just can't keep up. And I had reviewed so many Civivis in such a short amount of time. Again, like I said, this is the 8th one since I believe October when they came out. Maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was like September, but it was like September or October. And I haven't looked at when my first Civivi review was. But man, it's just, they come out so quick, and I've reviewed almost all of them. I didn't review the Naha, but I did have it in my hand for a bit. But I've handled all of them, and it's just so hard to keep up. That this one I just was like, I'm just going to skip it. I'm just going to skip this one. I'll get one at some point. I'm just going to skip it. Because it was just so many of them in such rapid succession. But then I did get a lot of requests. When are you going to review the Statera? You guys wanted to see it, so I got it. And I do really like it. You know, I knew I'd probably like it. And it's a keeper. This is one I'm definitely going to hold on to for a while, because I don't have any of the $68 Civivis now. The only one I have is the Backlash, because again, I kind of had fatigue and sold a bunch of them. But it's definitely one I'm going to keep. It's an excellent knife, but yeah, I just was worn out. So I took a month or so break of no Civivi content, and now I got this one and I like it again. So we'll be back at it. I'm sure that at Blade Show there's going to be another 4 or 5. It's just the way that we and Civivi operate. That's just the new reality. I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. But I do hope that this one keeps coming back, because it is a very good one. I haven't heard of any of the Civivis getting cut yet. I still see them coming back in stock at distributors and stuff, and at dealers. So I think they're going to keep coming. But great knife. Just slow it down, Civivi. You're doing great. You're doing great. We love your stuff. Keep making more of the stuff we love, and just slow down a little bit. Keep stuff like this in stock, and stop making new ones. Just for a minute. Just give us a minute to catch our breath. That's all I'm asking. But awesome knife. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.